Gonna get serious now, LG.
What?
I'm gonna get serious now.
Yeah,
Hey, hey!
hey, hey.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Reverend Guitar Circle, our ranch. I am Ken. This is the last of the mighty Vito Soulshaker models. Seen here in Orchid Pink. Why do we call it Orchid Pink, LG?
You tell me.
Because Rick is not British.
It's a good point.
Yeah. If anybody wants to know if the Orchid Pink and the Foam Shrimp Pink are the same thing, let me let you in on a little secret. They are.
Mm-hmm.
We just keep the foam shrimp thing set aside for our UK friends.
Well, because foam shrimp sounds weird to
Yeah, oh,
us.
it really does. Oh, yeah.
But then once you know what they are, it doesn't sound as weird, but
Yes,
yeah.
totally. This is the Vito signature model in Orchid Pink. It is a very lightly chambered and very light guitar, Carina-bodied instrument, three-piece Carina neck with an ebony fingerboard. Please note no binding on this, which really gives the neck a very, very unique look. Also note that the neck itself is finished in a satin finish while the body of the guitar is glossy.
Bring that right on over here.
We have this custom binding made for us by our friends at Girian Instruments in Seattle, Washington. And they custom make these binding strips for us, and we get them over to our friends at Mirror to make this beautiful guitar model.
Well, and show them the neck versus the body.
And then the
They can
neck
see
versus
this.
the body thing.
Yeah, there you go.
Got it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can see the line right there.
Mm-hmm.
And our cool inline 6 headstock, little Soulshaker logo on the truss rod cover, locking tuners. This one was set up by Mr. Doug.
Yay, Doug.
This was a little traditional thing for Rick. Rick likes two humbucker guitars, likes single coil guitars. We have done P90s with him. We have done combinations, all combinations thereof.
Rick just likes guitars.
Let's be clear, he really do. He
yes,
do.
A lot.
Yeah, a lot. These are Reverend's Alnico humbuckers with the arrow appointment on them, per Rick's sort of deco stylings. Same pickguard that was on the Rick Vito Classic, roughly. Same vibe anyway, of course. Very, very hard cutaway. Rick is, of course, a master of slide guitar, and so he's got plenty of room here to do all of his master of slide guitar things. And this is a very traditional setup. It's a volume and tone and 3-way toggle switch. There's no capping, there's no bass contour, there's no nothing. This is plug in and play slide guitar that we do for Rick Vito. Note the Bigsby, of course, and we put the soft touch spring on here. That's the bridge pickup, both pickups on. The neck pickup alone. Ooh, that's nice. Sorry. If I could play slide, I'd demonstrate that, but that's one of those things where it's like the guy who plays this guitar, there's demos of him available online of him showing his slide technique with this particular instrument. I'm sure as hell not going to try to do it.
He's like the best in the world at that, isn't he?
More or less, yes.
Or in the top 3 or so.
Best in the world, I think, is a good argument to be made.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, everybody. I'm a little dehydrated today. Yeah, so I'll tell you here, because you're here, we're working on something new with Rick again. Something new, something fun. It's going to be really, really cool. It's not going to be out until next year. We have told you guys before, we are so busy here that we're just having a difficult time filling orders. But we didn't want to say goodbye to the Soulshaker without whipping up a dozen of them in this color.
Well, the colors,
that's about as many of them as they are. Rick really wanted one, so this could very well be the one that is going to Mr. Vito himself. And then there's going to be 11 more out there in the world somewhere. I'm sorry to do that to everybody, but that's the difference between now and a couple of years ago. A few years ago, we'd make 12 guitars and be like, boy, I hope people order them. And now they've been ordered before we ever get around to making them. We tell some of our select dealers that we're doing this and this time and this and this time, and they just gobble them all up. So don't ask me where they're going, folks, because I don't know. Miss Penny and I took a little break for the first time in 15 months. It was kind of a nice little break.
Now we're kind of goo.
Yeah, we're a little bit gooey getting home from our break, but we just got in last night, so I haven't been here for 9 days, and so but I'll be honest with you, I can't keep track of where all these things are going anyway. I mean, even in the best of times when I'm the most alert, and sometimes I notice orders,
Right.
And I can usually tell you, the usual suspects, of course, and Wildwood Tone Shop, Joe's Music in Detroit, the guys that have been, with us and supporting us all along. Musician's Friend gets a lot of these things too. I don't know if they're getting any of these. I have no idea. But anyways, yes, this would be the sort of final hurrah for the Rick Vito Soulshaker, which is kind of a bummer. So if you want one of these, get online and grab one up, or else the used market is where you're playing.
And Reverb is always a good place to check, because a lot of dealers put their new, it's not just for used guitars, it's also for new guitars.
That's for sure.
So if you're just like, I don't know where to start looking, start there.
Yeah, that is a very good point. Very good point, LG. Rick is one of the OJ dudes. Naylor met Rick when he was playing lead for Bonnie Raitt, and I'm not sure what put the two of them together, but for some reason Naylor had an invite to go to that show and show Rick guitars, and Rick has this very, very cool Art Deco sort of aesthetic and style that just oozes from him, man.
Right.
He's just a cool guy, and Rick really understood what Joe was going for with the original instruments, and right out of the gate, he had a pink slingshot that he used in one of his in his Hot Licks, I believe. It was one of those Hot Licks or Arlen Roth, one of those videos. Remember you used to get those big videotapes with the instructional stuff on them? Those were great. That was before YouTube. Aging myself there a little bit. And he did some instructional videos with a pink slingshot, and we got a lot of attention from that.
That was about that color, right?
It was a little bit darker.
Okay.
Those phenolics, didn't gloss up like this, so they
That's
didn't,
true.
it was a little more salmon-y, I believe. Or is this more salmon-y? What's lighter? Salmon?
Then what?
This. Would you call a salmon
I
like a
wouldn't
little
call that
darker?
salmon. I think salmon is more orange in it.
Yeah, I think the old U.S. guitars were a little more salmon-y than this, but at any rate, and he used that slingshot for a while, and then he wanted some hotter P90s, and one thing led to another, and then Joe did the amazing first signature model with Rick, which is the bead blasted skulls and snakes and dice and all of the stuff, and then with the voodoo doll on the back, and what a great guitar that is. And that has got whomping like 17K P90s on it. Just crazy. It's a hell of a guitar. And we made that right up through the end of course, the phenolic bodied construction that we were doing in Warren when we started doing this. And then we took a few years off with Rick as we were getting our bearings. And then Joe designed the stunning Rick Vito Classic with the striping and the decals on it in the Oceanside green was the first one, and then many colors ensued of the Classic. And then there were some versions of that with Revtrons out there and Bigsby's, and that guitar led us to bringing back the teardrop case.
Right.
Because I thought it would make such a cool package to have that guitar shipping in the teardrops.
We were just doing the teardrop with
the Rick Vito.
Yeah,
Originally, we were just including teardrops with the Rick Vito model as like a thing. And then we just got an overwhelming amount of requests to just offer the teardrop case already. So then we started bringing that back and making it available to everybody for everything. And then Rick wanted to move on to a full humbucker guitar. And so we've done this for a couple of years. And then now Rick has another idea, which is great, which is a subtle play on what's going on here. Let's be clear.
Well, yeah.
But it's you guys are really gonna like it.
And that is not that different than the Classic either. I mean, it's sort of a similar animal and
the pearl top ones were really pretty stunning.
True.
Yeah, we did like a black pearl and a white pearl in this for a while that were really cool looking. But it's it's a really super fun guitar. But these guys, they're always thinking, they're always playing. It's kind of, hey, what if we tried this? What if we tried that? And Rick is no exception. And so there will be something new for Rick next year. And we're already trying to figure out the timing of that. I don't know what that timing is yet, you guys. I'm really here just to tell you that this is the last hurrah of the Soulshaker. And here we go. Boy, what a warm sounding guitar. What a joy to play. And then if you saw my Facebook and Instagram post, this is, of course, the week. I'm very sad to say I have to say goodbye to this fine, fine Car Super B amplifier. This has been one of my favorite amps that Steve has ever sent us. This thing is, there's a Sting feature on it. So this amp mimics. There's just no real good word for that. But it pays homage to 3 different versions of the Mighty Fender Deluxe. There's a Sting switch on here, 64, 68, and 72. And as you turn that switch, it shifts the mid-range tone shaping in the amplifier, makes it a little bit more aggressive. I usually play it on the 64 setting because I like the traditional Blackface Deluxe. It's one of my favorites. But this gets into some Silverface flavors too, which are great. It is a 10-watt amplifier. I am running it at 10 watts, but it has a built-in, I'm going to say it wrong, a tuinator. Maybe that's right. I always say that word wrong. But you can flip a switch on this thing and dial it down to a half a watt or less. You can dial it down to 0. So you can crank the volume on it. I'm going to do that just for fun. Let me turn off. Well, that is the amp reverb. So I'm going to take them through the amp, LG.
Why not?
So here, I am running it at 10 watts. The volume's on like 2, which you can't tell how much air I'm pushing in here. But I've got all of the controls at straight up 12 o'clock. The amp reverb is gorgeous. And that is on the 64 setting. Now I'm going to turn that to the 68, and you can just hear the little mid-range shift. You hear it get just a little bit more grindy. That's back to 64, 68. You know what? I'm going to turn the reverb off because I'm hiding it, I think, a lot. Let's start that again. Bridge pickup of the Soulshaker, all the controls wide open. And this is on the 64 setting with all the tone 12. And the sting control at 68. You can hear it have just a little bit more throat and a little more punch. And then all the way up to 72. Where this really gets fun is if you flip the switch out of the 10 watt mode and then crank the master volume.
Oh boy.
All the way up. So now this is doing your dimed deluxe. Don't worry about it, Penny. So now I'm running that at about 5 watts, and I have the volume all the way up on the 72. It's just this cool sort of, I mean, that's what those amps sound like when you're really cranking them up. That's on the 72 setting. On the 68 and the 64, it's a little more subtle. That's the 68. Go back to the 72, you can really hear the difference. Yes, indeed. Folks, this is the Car Super B, and it rocks. I have a tendency, because I use so many pedals here, to just play the cleanest settings on all of his amplifiers. And I wholeheartedly, the best sounding clean tube amps on the market today, without question, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I just absolutely love everything this guy does. I think this is Super B number 2, and I was honored to be able to take care of it here for a couple months. But he's getting these things out for reviews and stuff, because this is his new product for this year. We were going to do this virtual NAMM taping, and that's what we borrowed it for, and then that keeps getting pushed back, and now the whole damn thing is up in the air because everything has just been so strange, and it's really, really hard to gather in a group of artists, even though give us kudos for trying. We tried. And we still may make it happen, but as you guys know who tune into this thing, we have a Car Rambler here, we have a Viceroy here. We can use all of those things. So I'm going to get this back to Steve this afternoon, and I'm going to miss it because it's gorgeous. I think I've covered all my talk in LG. Anybody got any questions for the big guy?
We lost my mic, by the way.
Oh no, we lost your mic. Okay, so I can read the questions. It's no problem.
We'll do that.
Yeah.
Joyce Bassano
Hi, Joyce.
says hello from Uncle Etu and your favorite cousin.
Oh, thank you, everybody. Yes, kudos to me from the Michigan's mighty Upper Peninsula and all my family up there. Hello, everybody. Miss you all, and we're going to see you in June.
Way back in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Sassy Cat on YouTube asked if that's a set neck or bolt-on.
Sassy Cat on YouTube. This is a set neck guitar, and all of the Carina guitars, Carina set neck guitars, they are 3-piece Carina necks, and that is 3 pieces long ways, so that we don't have to have an ugly volute right here for strength. Just having the wood laminated gives it strength enough to support the headstock, and so this is a 3-piece set in Carina neck with an ebony fingerboard. So I guess technically you would call that a 4-piece neck because the fingerboard is one of the pieces.
Scott Busey.
Hi, Scott.
He said he's got a cross-cut W question. He's got a double agent OG and a Charger 290, and would a cross-cut W be redundant? He likes the red one.
Scott has a double agent OG and a Charger 290, but he's digging on the cross-cut. He's wondering if it would be redundant. I think that the Railhammer clean-cut pickups and the cross-cut guitar have enough of their own character that that the guitar will have its own flavor. And if you're looking for the W, of course, if you like that body style, the W gives you the Wilkinson advantage on that. And the W is only going to be available on the cross-cut for 2021. So if that's something that you're thinking about, I don't think you can go wrong. I think those clean-cut pickups sound great. I think Railhammers sound great. While the Humcutter pickups are designed to give you that sort of mid-range of a P90 style pickup, the mid-range and clarity of the P90 style pickup, they still have their own character, and just being noiseless gives them their own character and gives you some options to try that mid-range punch with real high-gain stuff, which I really, really like. So I think there's enough there for sure. I hope that answers your question, Scott, and didn't just come off as me trying to sell you something. Because, of course, that's my job, too, but I really do believe every word I just said. Thank you.
Eric Sycamore.
Hi, Bug-Eye.
Yes. He wants to know if that's an extended Bigsby arm.
Bug-Eye, this is the traditional Bigsby B50 that we get from Mir, and nope, the arm is the same length as it is on all the B50s.
This would be a good time. Maybe explain why you call him Bug-Eye.
Oh, well, Bug-Eye, Eric there, who asked that question, has been a good friend of the company for well over 20 years. And when we offered the Bug-Eye chrome finish on phenolic guitars, there was a point where he had one of each one, and may still. I know he still has a couple of them for sure, but he was big into collecting those, and I think at one point had them all. So.
Isn't he Bug-Eye on the forum?
Yes, he is Bug-Eye on the original Reverend forum. Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. What else you got, LG? She's working. She's working. Sorry, we've lost little gal's microphone, so that's why she is relaying stuff to me.
Scott would like to see the red birch that's behind your head. If you could, like, lean over or something.
I can do better than that.
Okay.
I can do better than that. Oh, Scott, this guitar is a beauty. Oh, yeah. Let's see. It's been sitting here inactive for a couple weeks. Let me get it in action for you. You got any other questions while I'm doing this, LG?
Yeah.
We are having weather changes here in Ohio, so we've gone from the furnace running constantly to the furnace barely running.
Chris says he's coming to the Dallas show.
All right, Chris.
Will you be bringing any cool Reverend swag?
Chris, we will make sure and pack the swag. We don't have as many guitars to bring as we usually do, so we're going to make sure and bring all the swag and all the pickups, and we'll bring the straps. We'll have all of that stuff with us, and we will be there ready to party. Cool. Really looking forward to it. That's 2 weeks from this weekend. As you can tell, you can definitely hear that nasally sort of mid-range theme that's going on with the bridge pickup on this guitar, especially compared to the Alnico humbuckers, of course, over here. Here's your 2 pickup sound. neck. Ooh, that's nice. I think I'm running a little hotter than I was before, LG. What do you think? And then, of course, my favorite. Noise. No noise. Cross cut W. You want to see it up close to me. Can you? Will you? I can and will. Mm-hmm. There you go, folks. John
wants to know if we've ever thought of making a semi-hollow bristle master.
John, we have not. I'm not saying that it's not a possibility, of course, but that it's not really been Greg's thing up to this point, although Greg can take any guitar and make it absolutely fantastic. Yes. The Gristle Master is designed around the idea that it's a solid body platform, and I have a lot of opinions about Telecaster style guitars myself, of course, being an aficionado of such things. No. And yes, indeed. Penny's like, no, do you really have opinions? Yes, I do. But as I've said before on this very here program, I think that when you remove wood from a T-style guitar, you just make it less of a guitar, less of a T-style guitar. You take away that telly sharpness, which is what they're about, and just make it sound a little bit softer. And I'm not saying that that's not a thing. I mean, that's fine. I can understand why people like that or whatever, but when we designed the Club King, of course, Joe wanted to combat that, and that's what put that idea in my head. We tried some semi-hollow Charger 290s and flat rocks with F-holes, and they just sounded thin. They just didn't have the oomph the solid bodies had. And so Joe designed the Club King series to bring that acoustic zing and snap into that guitar without sacrificing any of the tone and still have that thin, full, rich sound. I kind of feel the same way about the Gristle Master. I don't know if anything would be gained sonically by removing wood. I mean, other than F-holes just look really cool, and I'm totally down with that. I can take them based on their own merit, but it does alter the tone enough to make it a different instrument. Yes, LG?
Okay,
LG.
Follow-up question.
Follow-up question from Little Gal.
For me. the Gristle Master as it is now.
Yes.
Has the raised center ridge and then the thinner wood.
Yes.
And doesn't that, I mean, you're removing wood to do that.
Yeah.
So doesn't that have that resonance factor?
Some of the Penny is asking about the raised center ridge on the Gristle Master, and some of the resonance that the guitar has comes from the fact that the wings are thinner than the mass of wood underneath of the bridge already. She makes a very, very compelling point. And the fact that those wings are already thinner does make putting, you know, an F-hole in it and removing wood from the thinner section of the guitar a little bit more interesting. Not impossible, just a little bit more interesting and probably unnecessary. But, you know, Greg could be watching me right now and going, hey, that's a great idea. So, so who knows, man? But in working with Greg, we've specifically made these guitars in what he was looking for. And so that option has never come up. I took way too long to answer that question. What else you got, LG?
Zenith says, will there be a chance for the Ron Ashton pedal to come back?
My parents had a Zenith television. I like that.
Too.
Yeah, I like that. The Ron Ashton pedal, that is a question for Johnny from Daredevil Pedals, and who is a great guy and very, very approachable. You look up Daredevil Pedals on Instagram and shoot him a message and ask him. I think he has been doing some runs of them. I think the orange ones were for us,
Yes.
but I think every once in a while he's been doing that Ashton Fuzz because that is a badass
He did
pedal.
like red, white, and blue ones for a while.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. So I really don't know. That's not my Johnny Water is his name, and he is a really, really cool dude. Daredevil Pedals. Go to his website, Instagram, Facebook. Ask him, and he will have the skinny. Good man.
Andrew says, I have a question about rail hammer wiring. I just purchased the Huevo 90 bridge.
Huevo.
I installed it, but I'm not sure I did it correctly. Green and silver grounded, and black, white, and red together hot.
No, you want to get the black off. Leave the red and white together and taped off, and leave them alone. The red and white wires just connect the two coils together internally, and in theory, when you tap a humbucker, what you get is only one set. You get the blade out of one coil or the poles out of the other coil, but you don't get them all at the same time, and so you get really poor response on 3 of the strings, which is why we say don't coil tap the hum cutter versions. And the hum cutters, of course, Billy Corgan, Kyle Shutneck, Heavy 90, which we used formerly known as the Huevos 90, the Nuevo 90, and the Clean Cuts. And she's doing stuff behind the camera to try to make me laugh, and it's working. So what you're going to want to do is take the braided coil is always the ground, and then the green and black thing confuses me because it depends on what you're pairing it up with. The green and black change the direction that the signal goes through the pickup. And so if you take the black hot and the green and the blade to ground and you only have that one pickup guitar, it's going to work perfectly. That's fine. Red and white together, pushed out of the way, and can be completely ignored when going into the chassis of the guitar. If you wire it with the green hot, or you wire it with the black hot and the green and braid going to ground, and you find that the pickup is out of phase with another pickup in the guitar, and you don't like the tone of that, then you can switch the green and the black, and that'll correct your phase issue. There is a lot more information about this available on the Railhammer Pickups website. So you want to get over to the FAQ over there or the wiring diagrams over there. Penny may very well post that in the comment thread below.
Railhammer.com/support.
Yeah, railhammer.com/support. And if you have further questions, you can just shoot it to the Railhammer info email, and I check that one personally, so I'll be able to take care of you over there, no problem. Cool.
Carlos has a double agent OG.
Nice.
And wants to install a Bigsby. Do you have any recommendations for a specific kit?
Well, if you specifically want a Bigsby, you want to get the Vibramate B5 kit, and that'll drop right onto the posts for the stop tail piece, which would be here. If there was stop tail on this guitar, jeez Louise. I am loopy, boys and girls. Woo! And then the B5 kit will go right onto the face of your double agent without any mods. You won't need to drill any holes. You won't really need to do anything. Vibramate.com will steer you in the right direction for that, and you're looking for the B5 kit. Before everybody else answers, and I know they're gonna, the no, not the Stets bar. I think Duesenberg markets it now, the Les Trem. The new version of the Les Trem also drops onto our guitars without any modification or holes needing to be drilled, and has been very popular. I have not played around with one much. I've played around with it just a little bit at shows, so I don't have any real hands-on experience with that. I personally like the look of the Bigsby, and I think with the Vibramate and the B5, because the plate is hidden under the horseshoe, it looks like this. And I love this piece of chrome. I think it's sexy, and because it's just something that you've seen on guitars your whole life.
Right.
And so I get it. But functionality now, I hear the Les Trem is fabulous.
Right.
So that is to each his own moment. Brian Gross Bias,
replied
BGB.
to the Railhammer guy, who was Andrew, and said it will probably be black and silver together on pot and green to the switch.
There you go.
If that didn't work, to switch the green and black.
Yep.
Put it on the screen so people can see it too.
There you go. Listen to that guy.
Right.
He's in the back with a soldering iron right now.
Right. This person on YouTube, who's got a screen name I can't read, said, so is this the only way to get a contender with humbucker pickups now?
More or less. Yes, the bodies are similar. We did discontinue the Contender HB at the end of the year when we started offering solid colors in the Roundhouse. And the Roundhouse was just kicking the Contender's ass, and we needed more room in our production. So the Contender HB went on hiatus. I hate to say that something is gone forever. I would love for the Contender HB to come back because the Contender HB is damn cool. Right. And we have some pretty cool, I know my buddy Colin from Mustard Plug and you know,
No.
yeah, Suicide Machines. Come on, what's my problem?
Oh, Justin?
Yeah, Justin Malik. I've been working with a guy named Tarek, and Malik and Tarek, and it just got all screwed up in there, and I just couldn't. Tarek from the Bluestones, by the way, if you guys haven't checked out the Bluestones, that is a good place to go and hear some Roundhouse tone and some Railhammer tone, because that dude is a monster. The Bluestones are a Canadian rock band, and they kick ass, and they're pretty new to our both the Railhammer roster and the Reverend roster. But back to the Contender HB, yes, Justin is playing his, and he loves it. He says it's the greatest guitar he's ever had, and so I hated it when it had to go away. Some of these decisions, if you guys think that when you see models go away, if you think it's a flippant thing on us, understand that Naylor and I are like, but we really like that one. But sometimes you have to let the market's pulling from us, and we have to fulfill the things that the dealers are ordering. So hopefully the Contender HB does come back someday. This is close, and so yeah, that it does kind of fill that void. Yeah, yes indeed. Anything else, LG? I think we should go. You not having a microphone is probably weird for the people watching at this point.
Well, they can, yeah, it probably is.
Yeah, yeah. Anything further? No? Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. Again, this is the last of the Rick Vito Soulshakers, the last run in Orchid Pink, shipping to dealers within the next couple of weeks. Coming up in the future, Patty and I are going to be leaving we'll be here next week, but 2 weeks from today, this show will take place in the Dallas International Guitar Festival, which is always kind of fun because on Friday morning, I don't think the show opens till noon. It's for dealers and buyers, you know, exclusive buyer badges or something on Friday morning. So the floor is usually quiet enough on Friday morning that at 10 o'clock Central, we can bust out there and do this show real quick in front of our booth. And so we'll plan on doing that in 2 weeks. But next week, we will be right back here.
Might be Facebook only.
Might be Facebook only because we will not have all of the software to put it up on both things. I'm glad you thought of that, LG.
Thank you.
Yeah, yes indeed. It will probably be Facebook only, and it'll probably be just from the iPhone. But what the hell, you guys want to see that, right? It's a guitar show. It's been a long time since we had a guitar show. We're fired up. We're ready to do this thing. So, but I will see you right back here next week. Everybody have a terrific weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. I got to go pack up this poor Super Bee. It doesn't want to leave me, I can tell.